Hello and welcome everyone to the first episode of Inspiring Generations. Today we are going to talk about the salvation journey. My name is Pascal Aquila and I am your host. Joining us is this beautiful couple. I have known them for the last 1 year and I am sure that their salvation journey shall greatly inspire you. Mr. and Mrs. Kijana, please introduce yourselves and say hi to our viewers.
Hi viewers, my name is Innocent Bwire. Kijana is my other name, like my friend Pascal has mentioned. I work with an internet service providing company in a procurement department, and together with me here is my beautiful wife, who will introduce herself.
Beautiful indeed.
Hi viewers, my name is Joan Aoko Bwire. Bwire is my husband, and thank you so much, Pascal, for having us here. I am a crochet designer and I'm also passionate about creating mental health awareness. By a crochet designer, I mean I design my outfits using yarns and hooks.
Beautiful. As you listen to them, viewers, she handmade her own gown. Please tell us more about that handmade gown on your wedding day.
Okay, yes. So my wedding happened last year, 2019, on 4th of October. And I crocheted my wedding gown. It took me 2 months to actually craft it. Yes.
Wow, 2 months.
Yeah.
Innocent, were you part of that arrangement? Every man would want to buy something nice and you allowed her to make her own gown.
Well, the reason I got married to her is I trusted her. So when she mentioned that, when I knew she's a crochet designer, I knew she said she want to make her own gown. So I trusted that. But trust me, I didn't know she will pull out such a nice piece.
I mean, it was so beautiful, viewers. I attended that wedding, and as just my camera person, you can just go stretch your camera towards the wall, and you will see those beautiful gowns. Beautiful.
Thank you. So yes, my husband, he knew I was crocheting my wedding gown, but I didn't want to show him what I would come up with. I wanted it to be a surprise on that day.
Oh.
And I actually managed to pull
Indeed,
that
it was.
because I surprised him. Were you surprised?
I was
Yes.
surprised.
And I remember his exact words during that moment I was walking down the aisle. He told me like, wow, baby, you are so perfect. I knew you'd make a masterpiece, but I didn't know it would be such a beautiful piece like
So
this. You won.
humbling.
Yeah.
So humbling indeed. So our topic today is the salvation journey.
Yes.
I believe all of you are born again.
Yes.
Please take our viewers through your salvation journey.
Okay. So I got born again in 2015, and that was my last year in campus. And after struggling so much, I was still on the other side of the world. My life was so empty. I had that emptiness in my heart. And so when I met my husband, he's actually one of the people who inspired me to get born again and actually build my relationship with God. Yes, I would go to church occasionally, but ever since I gave my life to Christ in 2015, my life has never been the same again. Yes, and I thank God that I made that decision in my life.
Wow. Very, Mr. Innocent.
Yes.
That is very inspiring. Now here is a lady who is not born again. You're on the other side, you're born again. Please take us back to that moment. How was it like?
Well, it's it was those moments. I meet this lady, and I'm a believer. I'm even that point. I'm already serving in church. There's that image you have to portray. I'm in leadership. I'm inspiring young people. And I want to date someone who is born again. But remember, I meet this lady. She's not born again, but I like her.
Mr. Innocent, we won't allow you to skip something very important to our viewers. Take us back to your meeting. How did you meet?
Okay, so we met in the year 2014. I was in third year in campus. I was studying in Maseno University. So by that time, we were based in the main campus. But in 2014, we got moved to city campus. So yes, so I wanted to connect my laptop to the university Wi-Fi, which happened to be on the 9th floor. So there I am. I went to the 9th floor. I wasn't familiar with the building quite well. So I saw a door written like internet providing company. So I thought it belonged to the university because it was on the same building. So knocking on the door, I met Innocent.
Wow.
Yes, a stranger by then.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and yes, like she says, she knocks on the door, and when I go to check, it happened that I was alone in the office. So when she knocks on the door, I go to open up, and voila, beautiful lady, and smiling with the laptop, and she asked me, I want to connect to the campus Wi-Fi. And I'm like, it's okay, but we don't work for Maseno. We just a tenant here, but we provide internet, so you are in the right place. So I welcome her in, and then I connect her laptop as
Yes. And actually we connected quite well. And I even asked him for his phone number. Or were you the one who asked me for my phone number? Who asked first?
Looks you did what you did.
I think I did. Yeah, because I thought like, wow, this is such a kind-hearted man. Let me just have his number. If I'm in need of internet again, I'll probably reach out to him. So that's how I took his phone number, and he told me, by the way, which church do you go to? And like I said before,
that was in your first meeting.
Yeah, that was my first meeting.
A man of God.
Yes, I was actually surprised. Someone is asking me which church do I go to. Yes. So okay. So when he asked me that, I told him like I rarely go to church, but I can come to your church if you invite me. So he told me, by the way, I fellowship at CITAM. You can actually come one of these fine days and you see how it goes. And I told him I'll be more than glad to attend CITAM service.
Yes, she asked for my number. At that moment, someone asked you for your number, and you're like, ah, yeah, she's even making it. Back at the back of my mind, I'm like, she's been making it easier. So yes, she asked my number, and then
And then also I remember the first time I went to CITAM church, I didn't go because of him. Actually, I had a roommate, and I told her, by the way, I met this guy, and he told me he's fellowship at CITAM. Can we go one of these fine days? We go try out this CITAM assembly. So when I went there with my friend after the service, like you see the way they usher in the visitors. After the service, they get to meet visitors personally and interact with them. And now when I went to the visitors room, guess who I met again?
Innocent Bwire.
Innocent Bwire. He was an usher there.
As beautiful as you can listen to that story, I can tell you even my people behind the scene are enjoying this. I'm sure you are enjoying it. Please, Mr. Innocent Bwire. Now this is a lady. Her first time she came to CITAM, she wasn't born again, right? So at what point did you get born again?
That was my first time attending CITAM, and I was like, wow, this is amazing church. It's so lively. Like I remember I danced on that day, and I was wondering like, where have I been all my life? So like me getting born again didn't happen on that same day. So severally I went to church, and he introduced me to these small groups. By that time it was called
Crossroaders, and we also had, actually in CITAM we have a variety of fellowships. So there was Crossroaders, and there was a young profession. So because I was attending young profession that time, I made sure that I made sure that she would join us in the fellowship, which was the setters, which was for the young profession.
So when I joined those small groups, he also introduced me to Bible study, which was something quite new to me. So those small groups actually started building. When I associated with them, I had like a positive influence around me. And my heart was empty. I was still living in sin, like on the other side of the world. So when my heart was empty, and here now I am surrounded with the Christians, and I was deeply yearning for God. I was deeply yearning to mend my relationship with God. And then I just decided to give my life to Christ. He did not push me into it. He did not convince me into it. It's just my personal decision. Though he was an inspiration to me.
Mr. Innocent, now what was your turning point like?
Yes, my turning point, like just like my wife, actually I think we have many things in common. Like she was born and raised Catholic, I was born and raised Catholic.
Sure.
For those who maybe who have known or attended Catholic or go to Catholic, you know, it's a church where you go and you're so reserved and like kila kitu there's a moderation of things, but you know, you go, like she came to our church, that was CITAM, and she enjoyed. So did I. When I first joined CITAM, just when I was just searching for churches, you know, I was like,
What
yes.
really was going on in your mind during that time? I mean, you can't just walk into a church. What was going on in your life before?
Really, you know, there is that you know, of how do we call it, when you're so used to something, so you just want to know what really happens to other churches.
Sure.
So when I thought of churches, I realized there was a church. There was CITAM along Nairobi Road. So I was like, let me go to church. Let me just pass at CITAM and see what really happens in these other Pentecostal churches. So I go there, I find there are so many youths and people are enjoying themselves.
Yes.
So I attended CITAM for like about a year, just enjoying myself and also maybe attending some fellowship. But really, I had not made my decision or made up my mind about giving my life to Christ. And so one day there is this preacher who later became my good friend,
Yes.
who was preaching, and you know, when God is calling you, at times you can't resist. So after the preaching, he called for the altar call, and then I find myself on the altar. I didn't know how. I mean, I didn't know, because I had not planned to get born again on that day.
I mean, I would say spirit led.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when the Spirit led me, like Pascal is putting it,
Yes.
I found myself on the altar, and then we being prayed for. Actually, I was crying the whole time in the service during the prayers before the altar call. I was crying, and I don't know what was really happening to me.
Yes.
So we went and prayed for, and till that day, I've never changed my mind about.
Wow.
Yes.
So we see the two of you growing together, dating together in salvation.
Yes.
I mean, my viewers, I'm sure you're wondering, how are they managing it? There are issues with fornication. Maybe they're in a better position to explain to us.
Yes. So when I met this guy, my husband, sorry.
Yes.
I love calling him my guy.
Yes, he is.
Yes, so when I met my husband, he was this saved guy in church. While for me, I was liberal, yes, if I may say.
Yes.
So I found him boring because I wanted to still hang out in those fun places.
Yes.
But for him, he's rigid, you know. So yeah, that brought a challenge in our relationship.
Yes.
And also after giving my life to Christ,
Yes.
as we all know, it's a walk, it's a journey.
It's a journey.
Yes, you can't perfect it on the first day.
Yes.
So I was still having some struggles. I still wanted to go out, and that would bring conflict in our relationship. By that time, we had already started dating in the year 2015, end of 2015. Yeah, so I remember we used to fight a lot. Like he's calling me, sometimes he's calling me like, tomorrow we are going to church. I still feel like, I don't feel like going to church today. So it was a struggle, but by God's grace, we overcame it. Yeah, one step at a time. Baby walks. Yes.
Therefore, when my wife met me, then a friend, I was already serving as a Bible study leader. I was already serving in Welcome Ministry, which she called Asha.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes.
And also in youth leadership.
Yeah.
So like I'd expect, like, hey, now you, like, I mean, there's a way things has to happen. I mean, you can't just be in salvation. And again, we have to, when the Bible talks about the two cannot be equally yoked.
Yes.
So I'm like, we cannot be yoked. We cannot be born again and again at the same time, still having to enjoy the things that are of the world. Yes, exactly. So it was that push and pull, but I understood her. I kept praying for her, because I knew one day God will just come through and things will be okay. And I trust you. Things are very okay right now.
Yes.
And yes.
Yes, and I also remember when I shared with my friends that I am born again and I have met this born again Christian man, and I think I'm ready to date him. Some even laughed at me, owing to the fact that we used to hang out, and then they were like,
and here you are a new person.
and here I'm a new person. They were like, utawezana kweli?
Yes.
And I was like, gosh, I'm feeling mocked. Or was it a wrong decision I made for my life? You know,
Yeah.
you start having those second thoughts.
Yes.
Like, was this the best
The
decision
peer
for my
pressure
life?
around
Oh,
you.
yeah, of course, the peer pressure
Yes.
around me.
Mm.
But I thank God they later on got used to it,
Mhm.
and they offered me that support.
Yes.
Till like if they happened to go out, they knew, hey, Joanne
Yes.
is a saved girl. We should not
Yes.
include her in our plans.
Oh,
When they need to hang out in a different place that can accommodate me,
Yes.
they also embraced me.
Oh,
Yes, and I
wow.
thank God for that.
It's very, very, very true, because you get when you give your life to Christ.
Yes.
I want to assure the viewers that there are many people that you're going to
To
lose.
lose.
And
Yes.
so they say when you want to know you're growing,
Yes.
you'll have to lose. People in your life.
Yeah.
And
It's
Innocent, talking about losing, how do you cope up with that? Myself, I had the same problem.
coping up with the losing friends.
Yes.
It happens, and maybe just to encourage ourselves that how do we? The Bible says that you will know them by their fruits.
Yes.
So when some people if people are really for you, they will stand with you regardless
Yes.
of who you are.
Yes.
And so for me, when the Bible talks about, like I mentioned earlier, when the Bible talks that we cannot be equally yoked,
Yes.
I don't say that I hate you or I don't hate them, but still I'm a friend. But this is the life that I've chosen now.
You have to draw the
Yes, you have to
boundaries.
draw the boundary.
Yes.
There's a line that I have drawn. I
Yes.
cannot do this now. Now I'm
Yes.
doing this. My life now is the light, and I'm being led by the Spirit of
Yes.
God.
Mm.
So I'd really, at times, in a good way, I'd really not care what people would say
Yes.
about me and about my life, knowing that
Yes.
there is a certain way I have to live now.
Yes.
Yes.
We call it Jesus Christ culture or
Yes.
lifestyle.
Mhm.
Yes.
Now, there's something I'd asked you, the two of you,
Yes.
and I know there are a lot of people who are struggling with it out there.
Mm.
The two of you, you mentioned you are living in Kisumu
Yes.
and you are dating,
Yes.
and I had asked,
Mhm.
how did you manage? Like so many would ask, how can the two date for all that time until 2019 with not having necessarily sex?
Mm.
How did you maneuver through that?
Yeah. So I remember when we started dating, he was open and he told me, Joanne, I don't want to date you for fun. I want this relationship to lead to marriage. Luckily, I understand there are temptations. I
Yes.
must also admit that we got tempted, but what helped us is we knew that number one thing is it was more of a long distance relationship. In as much as I was based in Kisumu, remember in 2015 was my last year in campus.
Sure.
Then after campus, I got opportunity in Nairobi.
Oh.
So I was living in Nairobi, he was living in
In
Kisumu.
Kisumu.
Yeah, so we will see each other maybe after 6 months, so there's like a wide gap
Oh.
time range. And then after dating for a period of one year, and then I got it, he engaged me, and then we started planning the wedding process.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And then of course there comes that judgment when you tell someone that you're trying to keep yourself pure until marriage. People are like, is that even possible? And all that. And of course that being born again and you're dating, there's also that pressure from like people from the church. They keep on asking you, when is the wedding, when is the wedding, when is the wedding? And also you understand finances is a challenge. So those kind of pressure was too much for us. But we thank God that we managed it.
So answering your question, when you're dating and there's that temptation, one thing you should know is what do you want in this relationship? And the one thing is, like a person like me or for us, we know that we now born again. There's a way that we need to keep this thing. And so if we want to have a blessing union, we want to, why would you want to trust on God? Why would you want God to come through for us? We can't do the things that God expects of us to do. So there is that praying and also having people around you. And for me, it worked for me that I had myself, I had many people who are in salvation, who had gone ahead of me, those who would advise me, hey, and I would be open to them and tell them, hey, by the way, it's this. And they also knew, because Ababu at a time, there was also in that period for them where they know these challenges can come, and what do you do? How can you conquer them? So many times I'd call them and tell them, hey, it's like this and it's like this. So it's people that you trust and people that you work with, and most importantly, praying, because when you give Satan a chance,
Yes.
trust me, it will be easy for you to fall. So trusting on God, and also making sure that you don't provide that atmosphere that would
Yes.
allow you to do things that are not
Yes.
right for you, that would allow you also to sin against God and
Yes.
against your own
Yes.
body.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm.
As you heard, viewers, we can have a godly relationship without necessarily having sex, as it is called fornication. But I know you're wondering, there was a time they were worlds apart. Innocent was in Kisumu and Joan was in Nairobi. I want to ask them, a lot of people are struggling with long distance relationship. How did the two of you go through it?
You want to go first?
Actually, it was a good opportunity that those bodily temptation weren't there. So the distance allowed us not to think about physically and maybe temptations, maybe like some would call it.
Yes.
So we used to talk a lot on phone. At times I'd call her and we talk about like an hour or even more, just speaking and sharing, encouraging each other,
Yes.
and just making sure that no one is too busy for anyone. As much as the time my job would be so busy, I made sure that there is time for the person that I love. So it's creating time,
Yes.
and also, I mean, encouraging just one another.
Yes.
Being the good thing is being friends, and I would
Yes.
encourage and tell maybe the viewers that if you're dating someone, you people have to be friends.
Yes.
Friendship would help you in many things, because you'll be honest with your person and you tell them, or for me, I'll tell her, hey, it's
Yes.
nihi na hi, and she'll be like, okay, I understand. And a person who would understand you easily.
Yes.
That is what worked for us in a
Yes.
long distance relationship.
Wow. It is true that the key to propagating a healthy and a godly relationship is by first identifying your friend. That is where it begins from. Now, I'm forced to ask.
Yes.
Then here you are all in Nairobi, and you are working through your wedding. Did you all, I mean, a lot of people would say wedding is very luxurious. How did you go through this?
Being a young couple, we didn't have much. We don't have much. So we definitely knew we had to work within our budget.
Yes.
And even sometimes that within the budget that you've set, you find that you are even still lacking, you know,
Yes.
and at the same time you need to do the wedding.
Yes.
So I remember we were just planning in faith.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we put it chini ya maji,
Yes.
like
Yes.
yes, chini ya maji. We didn't want to share with the people,
Yes.
so that if it fails,
Yes.
it's just
It
the
would
two
be up
of
to the
us.
two of you.
Yeah, the two of us.
Mhm.
And by that time, we started planning for our wedding in 2019.
Oh.
Yes, in 2019.
The same year you had the wedding?
Yes, it's the same year we had our wedding, right?
Yes. This happened, you know, like I'm this person who at times, in a good way, like I'd really not want to bother people with like, hey, either like unisaidie or something.
Yes.
But you know, just one day when we were in the fellowship Bible study, that is, I shared with our friends, and it happened that
Even Pascal was there.
even Pascal
Yes.
was
Our
one of
Bible
the-
study.
Oh yeah, sure, I remember.
Yes.
Yes.
So I share that I have a fiance and we're trusting God to get married
Yes.
this year. And everyone was like, Aya, when is the wedding? When have you set the date? Actually, I'd encourage people that fellowship, and especially Christian fellowship, like Bible study, it's a good avenue for you guys. And if you really in salvation and you're not attending Bible study or a
Yes.
fellowship, trust me, you're running on a dry river. One time things will collapse for you. Like for me, or like for us, Bible study was our everything as far as planning for the the wedding is concerned. These people had my support. Remember, these are the people that I've just met. Even it's less than a year.
Yes.
You know, like I'm this person who has been, or for me, this person who was like the most of my life I've been in Kisumu. So I'm like, if I would want to do a wedding, then I'll take it to Kisumu. So I'm like, maybe if people would come through for me or for us, it will be my people from Kisumu.
Yes.
But here I'm in a new place. I'm in Nairobi. I really don't have friends. The only people that I know is the people from Bible study, maybe my colleagues at work, and the people from church.
Yes.
But these people really came through for us. And I don't think I'll ever stop praying and thanking God for them.
Yes.
Wow.
Actually, we didn't expect we were not planning to ask people to contribute for us.
Yes.
So it was just a plan between the two of us.
Yes.
But I remember when, as my husband has said, when we shared our story to the Bible study members,
Yes.
we were pretty much amazed by the support they showed us.
Yes.
Actually, they're the one who started asking us, have you guys set the date? No.
Ah.
We didn't even set the date by that time. They were
Yes.
like, you guys need to set a date. If you are
Yes.
planning to wed, you must have a date. That's when we actually set the wedding
So
date.
remember,
Yes.
we're setting the date. I haven't paid for the
Dowry.
dowry. I mean, I haven't even gone for that.
There is so much that has not
There
been
is
done.
so much that hasn't been done, and that's why you say, like my wife had mentioned chinyawaba or chinyamaji.
Yes, yes.
Like
Yes.
you want to do things like suppose they don't happen, no one would.
No.
Yes.
No one will,
Yes.
will hold you accountable. Like, hey, you guys had set a date. And by the way, one thing from my people from church,
Yes.
you guys, there is this question that you always like asking these young people that when is the wedding? When is the wedding? You see two people dating, and the first thing you start asking is when is the wedding? Actually,
Yes.
that is the hugest pressure that you always put to these people.
Yes.
I think you rather ask them like maybe allow them to share with you their story, be their
Yes.
friend, and ask, because for us it was like people are asking you for when is the wedding.
Yes.
Financially we saw bad for us.
Yes.
So you're like, when is the wedding? I haven't even visited my fiance's family.
Yes.
I mean, how about the wedding?
Yes.
So we thank God that when we shared the Bible study, like I mentioned, these people supported us.
Yes.
And so we started planning. We settled for a date. And
Yes.
so we started thinking of what can we do. I mean, how can you really
Yes.
come through for us?
Yes. Indeed. Bible study, as they said, is just a family of its own. Now, I want to ask you, you are married, and we thank God for that.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that I would say those who are in salvation undergo, and how do you overcome them?
So what I know is marriage issues cuts across whether you are saved or not.
Yes.
The problems will always be there.
Yes.
You know, most people believe that since you are in salvation, everything is perfect.
Yes.
They're forgetting that you are still human being.
Yes.
Yeah, so even for us, when we got married, we still have issues here and
Yes.
there. But now the difference is, if I am a saved woman, I know what the Bible says for me. Like as a woman, I should be submissive.
Yes.
I try as much as possible to apply that to my marriage.
Yes.
Though sometimes it's a struggle. My husband says I'm tough-headed sometimes, but by the grace of God.
Not where you come from.
Yes, I am as who I am tough-headed.
Yes.
But by the grace of God,
Yes.
now that I have submitted myself to be a wife to him,
Yes.
so I try in as much as possible to make my marriage work. And I remember even after the marriage, we started fighting over little things like how the house should be arranged. You know, when I arrived, I was living alone.
Yes.
But now I'm together with this man.
Everyone
now
with their
arriving
own
in this
expectations.
place now,
Yes.
I want to take control of everything.
Uh-huh.
This house should have maybe a pink thing, a pink pillow. All this without putting him into consideration. You know,
Yes.
those are the small petty issues. Even people who are in salvation
Oh,
face
yes.
those challenges in marriage.
Yes,
So,
the truth is, you guys, when you're getting married, you two different people who have never stayed together.
Yes.
There's going to be differences.
yes.
So the one thing is just accept the person as they are, and
Yes.
as the Bible says that rebuke but do it in love.
Yes.
Rebuke but rebuke in love.
Yes.
Don't keep correcting someone, like making them feel like I'm not yes, I'm worthless, I'm not good at this.
Yes.
Encourage them.
Yes.
So it was I don't know, sometimes it pops up. It's still a challenge,
Yes.
but we thank God that we also have people that we talk to.
Yes.
And like when it's too much at times,
Uh-huh.
you really need to get people that you can share with.
Yes.
And these people would have to be your friends, so that they also understand you. For us, we have a couple who are very good friends, and so they always help us in this. Whenever we have issues, we share with them.
Yes.
But remember, issues will never stop.
Yes.
I always say that I'm forgetting what I always say.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And also,
Mhm.
just to add to his points,
Mm.
people have different personalities. Like he
Yes.
said, when you are now moving in together,
Mhm.
I have a different personality as Aoko, he has a different personality as Bwire.
Yes.
So when these two personalities meet,
Yes.
you tend to maybe rub each other or
Yes.
complement each other.
Yes.
But I believe if you choose to complement on each other and to compromise,
Yes.
everything is going to work out for good.
Yes.
And of course, be prayerful about your marriage,
Wow.
because we all understand that Satan hates family.
Yes.
So if you give room to the devil, he's going to destroy. Yes.
So what I always say,
Yes.
everything is not okay if everything is okay.
Yes.
So something has to be wrong for you to work out on this
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So if everything is okay, then you'll have nothing to correct. You have nothing to work on. But when you have differences, that's when you get to know your partner.
Yes.
So it's good for these things to come out. Unless you guys are pretending,
Yes.
then if you're fighting in your marriage, you're fighting in a relationship, then know
Yes.
that your relationship is so good.
Yes.
Mhm.
So as you heard from them,
Mm.
how to overcome is through complementing each other and consistent prayer.
Yes.
However, I know we are running out of my time,
Yes.
but it is important to know two things.
Mhm.
One, how is your prayer day looks like? Some would call it schedule.
Yes.
As a family now, it is important to our viewers who are out there,
Mhm.
who probably some of them don't pray more often as a family or as a couple.
Well, for us, and this is something that I've always done, even before I met my wife, I always have time for a fellowship. That is Bible reading, and maybe just going and understanding what is it, or what is God speaking to me, or God is speaking to us. So when I got married, my wife also, and I thank God that she was already born again now when we were married.
Yes.
So she also bought into this. So for us, it's every night we always. This is for the family, my sister, my nephew, and anyone. Even if a visitor comes,
Yes.
you'll have to submit to this.
Yes.
So we always have a devotion for us,
Yes.
where everyone in the house is given an opportunity or a day to lead.
Yes.
You give us the scripture that you will do. Especially for us, we're now doing the books in the Bible.
Yes.
So we read the Bible, and
Yes.
then we start studying. What do you understand? What do you think God is speaking to us? What is the take home for
And this
you?
is daily.
It's
This is
daily.
daily.
Wow.
This is every day. And then from there, we share the prayer points, and then we pray
We
together.
pray, we sing,
We
we
actually sing, we
Oh,
dance. The
wow.
Bible says
Look at this too.
the Bible says in the presence of God, there's fullness of joy. So we make sure we enjoy ourselves. Actually, I always say, if you're looking for a church is in your house.
Yes.
You cannot say that I have to wait until Sunday, especially right now that we quarantining.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it COVID-19 or what is it called?
Yes.
COVID-19.
So this is a church for us.
Yes.
If we cannot practice our prayer life here, then it means only in church you only go to nourish our faith and maybe recharge. But
Yes.
every day we have to make sure that we praying, every day we singing, every day we celebrating and pray together. And at times we also have a time to also just get to hear what the kids say when just while in the house, like sharing. How is it for you? Is there anything that is bothering you during that devotion time?
Yes.
So it's a time for us to catch up.
Taking care of each other's emotions.
Yes,
Yes.
true.
Mm.
And like the Bible says that the man is the head of the house. And I really thank God for my husband, because he has really spearheaded that.
Yes.
Like ensuring, like every day,
Yes.
we spare some time, we create some time for God.
Yes.
You know, like leading the family in prayers and all that. So it has become like a norm in our home.
Yes.
If we sleep without a devotion, we feel like there's something that's amiss.
Missing.
Yeah, so we have actually incorporated that in our daily life, so it's part of us. We are
Yes.
praying every day.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Now, viewers, as we come to conclusion, I know there's someone who is out there
Yes.
who wants to give their lives to Christ,
Mhm.
and they're still reluctant. They do not know where to start from.
Yes.
And some of them are even having issues with churches.
Yes.
As you know, they will say their churches who are deeply rooted on the gospel of prosperity.
Yes.
Now, what advice do you have for this kind of people, as you say your last goodbye to our viewers?
Well, I'd say salvation. I remember that I was in church and a preacher or a speaker was sharing about salvation, and he said that there was actually it was a story, and he said that the last time when no one was here on earth, and so we had all of us gone
Yes.
in heaven. Is it in heaven? And there was a gate, where this gentleman, there was guard on that gate,
Yes.
and so there was this gentleman who came there and was asking the guard,
Yes.
have you seen a Catholic here in this gate?
Yes.
Have you seen a Sitam? Have you seen? He mentioned all the churches, but the guard kept saying,
Yes.
no, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen
Yes.
that church.
Mm.
What the thing is, in salvation, there is nothing about church.
Yes.
So we all of us, salvation is about your walk and
Yes.
your walk,
Mm.
yourself and God.
Yes.
But as much, church will inspire you. Church will help you grow your faith. And I
Yes.
really thank God for Sitam, because there is a church-based, a Bible-based church
Yes.
where we read the Bible, and just like the Bible says that the Berean, remember Paul talking about the Berean always
Oh.
asks,
Mm.
go and find out what does the scripture say. Is the
Mm.
preacher, so also look at your life, look at
Yes.
what the Bible is saying.
Yes.
So it's easy
Yes.
for you when you check yourself.
Yes.
Mm.
So I'd encourage a person that there's no day. I mean, you will never know when the day is coming.
Mhm.
So today, right now, even as you're watching this,
Mm.
it could be the time for you to give your life to Christ.
Yes.
So He's always ready. God is always calling on you. The Bible says that there's a huge celebration in heaven when one of us give their life to Christ. So you don't have to wait.
Beautiful.
Amen.
Thank
And
you
there is
so
enjoyment in salvation.
Yes.
We are enjoying ourselves as a couple. I'm
Yes.
enjoying
Yes.
myself as a person. She's
Yes.
enjoying herself as a person.
Yes.
Everyone is enjoying themselves as an at individual level.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is no restriction in salvation.
Thank you
Wow.
so much, Innocent.
Yes. Thank you so much, my husband, for speaking for me also.
Yes.
Yes, but what I believe is salvation is a journey.
Mhm.
It's not like a one-time thing that
Mhm.
once you give your life to Christ,
Mm.
you've now become a perfect human being.
Yes.
You stop making changes in your life.
Yes.
So once you give your life to Christ,
Mm.
it's like now a journey. You
Yes.
see,
Mm.
it's a journey.
Mm.
And also you need like inspiring people around you.
Mm.
Because if you
Yes.
start associating yourself with people
Mm.
who are still not on the other side where you
Yes.
are,
Mm.
you are bound to fall. It's
Yes.
like someone is down here and you are
Yes.
up here.
Yes.
The person who is down will pull you actually down
Mhm.
instead of you pulling them up.
Yes.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that you should not now associate yourself with other people and start judging them.
Yes.
But what I can tell you is there's joy in salvation.
Mm.
If personally me, Aoko, I gave my life to Christ,
Yes.
even you can do it.
Mm.
Amen.
It's a good thing to do, and there's joy, there's fun in salvation.